I am here with Elena. Elena is a homeschool mom of two boys, and we met through our larger homeschool group. And you should tell the story because we were just talking before. I was like, "Do you remember the exact moment of when it was?" I know it was with the large group. I know it was one of our nature meetings, but I was like, I can't remember. Like, what was the exact moment? So,
Mhm.
if you wouldn't mind just sharing that.
It was summer, and it was one of our creek free nature plays. And I remember your kids were playing, like really immersed into play, building maybe a dam or a creek or something like that. And you were pregnant and just kind of like
Yeah.
in nature, just immersed in the in nature. And I had a 2-year-old boy at that time, just one, who wouldn't leave my side and wouldn't go play with anybody else. So I was kind of glued to his side and couldn't really participate in conversation. And so I just was kind of observing you and didn't really get to meet you back then
Yeah.
very much. We didn't really talk much. Yeah, a lot has changed since then.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why I was having a hard time remembering like the moment because I have talked to you so much since then and I was like, I know I met you way before that, but it was kind of I feel like it was a couple meetings before we like finally actually got to
Got
connect.
to connect.
Even
Exactly.
though we were like inhabiting the same space, it was the reality of like which I feel like is so true with parenting littles in general. It's like
Mhm.
conversations are constantly getting interrupted, and so it
Interrupt the
can be really
thought.
hard.
Yeah, you can't really finish a thought. You can't have a complete conversation. You kind of get used to like plugging into somebody's conversation, catching up where everybody is, like maybe giving your 2 cents and then being pulled away again. And maybe you'll end up in a different conversation for 2 minutes and then you'll be completely different. And then you're playing with kids and like navigating some situation. It's just, yeah. It's
Yeah, so much. I feel like, I have written about it before as, like, the windiness of parenting, like, it just feels and I struggled with it. I mean, I still struggle with it with my youngest who's 2, like, because I wanna have conversations, with people when we're with them, and I just feel so tugged in so many directions, so,
Mhm.
yeah.
And there's no consistency. Like you go to a place feeling like, oh, last time I had such a good conversation with somebody, maybe we can continue. And you can go in, and today, like my younger one, he doesn't want me to leave his side, even though last time completely didn't need me at all. So
Yeah,
you can never expect no expectations.
yeah. Well, I feel very grateful that we get to talk right now. Selfishly, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is great. I have
Right?
Elena all to myself."
Everyone's in bed. This is the moment.
So good. All right, so my first question, just to dive in, is what was your life like, not only before homeschooling, but, like, before kids? What did your life look like?
I worked at an office and I worked and worked. My life was basically work. I didn't really have a community or many friends. We had the husband time and work time, and that's basically what it was.
Yeah,
Well, for the a few years before kids. And then
yeah,
before that, it was completely different too.
yeah. And what was the work that you were doing just before?
So I work at NOAA. So I was a research scientist. So I contributed to a number of different projects, Arctic research, renewable energy research, weather, climate research. So a number of different topics.
Was homeschooling so then you had kids. Was homeschooling always on your radar, or what was it that sort of nudged you in that direction?
Um, I always knew that I didn't want to do traditional school. I had Waldorf on my radar already, just from reading books when I was maybe a teenager or young adult, and I always kind of dreamed of it. Like that was a dream. And my husband went to Waldorf school for kindergarten, so we both were really set on Waldorf because that was the only answer. And then when I was pregnant, my midwife was homeschooling her kids. She was a Waldorf homeschool parent. and she told me all about it, and she felt like my soul sister, like I knew her forever.
Mm.
And we connected on so many different levels, and it just inspired me to that possibility. Eh, we weren't set yet, but it kind of opened my eyes to that as a possibility.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what was your experience in school as a kid? Did you go to a public school or private school?
I went to public school, and it was a public school in Russia, and it was a post-Soviet Russia. So that was very messy.
Yeah.
It was a very harsh experience. But I also got to go to school in Germany, which is sort of like I can see how the roots of Waldorf kind of come from Germany. So there was a very different experience, but it was in a different country and a different culture and different language. So yeah, I loved school. Loved school every day of my life. But now being an adult and looking back at that experience, I can see how painful in many ways it was for me and how limiting, and I can see that it dimmed my light a
Mm.
lot. The whole, even though I mean, mm, I still love that, and yet I can see after all these years looking back that I could have been so much more, like felt so much more and experienced so much more.
Yeah.
I could have felt differently. Like back then, I didn't realize it that you can feel at home and you can feel loved and you can feel accepted, and that wasn't even on the table back then.
Yeah.
That was not an option. And now looking back, I realized, well, that's all possible for my kids, and I can
Yeah.
make it happen. So,
What was it about Waldorf that drew you to that philosophy? And now that you're in, a little couple years into homeschooling a little bit more, is Waldorf still like your true north, or do you feel like you're pulling from different philosophies, different curriculums? And then also, I did this with Lauren too. It's like five questions in one. But also on that note, what is your relationship with like curriculum versus no curriculum, and
mhm.
how does your homeschool day kind of like come together in that way?
So Waldorf always inspired me because it connects to your heart, and it basically uh, it has some spirituality to it, and it's basically the focus on connecting to everything through your heart,
Mm,
to knowledge, to experiences, through connections with people. Everything kind of goes through your hands, through your mind, and through your heart.
mm,
And that was always that drew me to it. And I can say that I still focus on those things, but I have. I at first when I discovered it, I thought this is the only philosophy that does it. I've never seen anything else that would focus on that. I mean, coming from public school and
yeah.
all the other experiences, and that was really inspiring. And the more I've dove into it, I started seeing things that didn't really align with me.
Mhm,
Like a lot of Waldorf, it kind of became sort of like a movement or sort of like a belief system. It's kind of very closed off. So
mm,
you're either in it or you're not. You're either doing everything right or you're not doing it at all.
mm,
And that doesn't align with me at all.
yeah,
I'm all about evolution and, flow, change, adjust.
yeah,
So I took basically the heart connection, the heart centeredness, and I took that. And now we're not doing it much. Also, a lot of Waldorf materials I could see in my older son that he didn't really connect to them very much.
mm,
Like, I love it, but he's kind of okay with them.
yeah,
He doesn't really have that rich imagination. He's a
mm,
very action-centered person. He
mhm,
likes learning through hands,
mhm,
but not really like he wouldn't get lost into his imagination ever. Which
mm,
compared to my younger one who does that all the time.
yeah,
So Waldorf work really well for him. But right now we combine a lot of different things now. Yeah.
yeah,
And speaking about curriculums, I love curriculums. I know I'm just a fan. I have a collection of different ones. And the reason I love them is because they sort of give me structure.
Mhm.
And then I love to pet that structure or adjust things in there, and like to make it mine. But I
Mhm.
really like having that everything laid out. So I have a I have FOMO big time.
Yeah.
So having a structure really gives me a peace that okay, I'm not missing anything and I'm not forgetting anything. Like here's a road, and I can decorate it the way I want, and if things not going well, then we might divert or ditch certain things, or we add a lot of things that we really like, and I love that.
Yeah. It's interesting. Sometimes I find it's like I get frustrated when a curriculum isn't everything I want it to be.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like I do the same thing. It's kind of like a patchwork quilt of like different things.
Mhm.
And creatively, like it's so fulfilling because I'm like,
Yeah,
whoa, I can take this from here and
yeah,
this from here and kind of like mush it all together.
yeah,
So yeah, it's interesting
yeah.
in that way. And also it's an interesting observation of like what and it kind of ties into my next question, which is basically just like, did you have expectations about what homeschooling would be like? Like, did you have this image of it in your mind? And how does that kind of match up with like your reality of it? And I was just thinking, for example, what you were sharing about your eldest of like thinking that he might like this one way and then realizing like, oh, I'm actually going to have to go a different route to some degree, you know?
So with my oldest, yeah, when he was just a little baby, and I had my midwife around me all the time, and we would talk and talk about like all these beautiful images, and I would feel like, oh, I want to do that too. And then getting to know my baby who's growing and getting to see what person he's actually becoming. I it wasn't a disappointment.
Yeah.
No, it was not. It was more like an aha moment. Like, oh, we're doing something completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's exciting actually. Now that I think about it, it's
Yeah.
exciting because um, you get to know this person.
Mhm.
You offer things, and you offer usually a lot of different things, and then you can see that he's like really goes towards something or responds to something. And yeah, it's always exciting. Like you never know how every day is gonna go. And you expect sometimes that, oh, I know he'll love that. And then sometimes he doesn't. And it's sort of like a journey because
Mm.
he changes every day, and we get to it's a journey we get to take together. Our, for him it's self-discovery and growth and becoming. And for me it's watching him and mm, being there with him and sharing it with him, and sharing a lot of sharing, because whatever I bring, it's usually something that I already responded to.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
what I can offer to him. I can't offer something that I'm not really into or I don't care about. I only
Mm.
offer things that I see as valuable, as interesting, fascinating. So I'm sharing, and he is discovering himself through that, my sharing the world with him.
Yeah.
What could be cooler than that?
I know, so cool. And then I found myself thinking of the word like rediscovery for us too.
Yeah.
It's like they're discovering and we're rediscovering and oftentimes like relearning things ourselves in a new way through how they're interacting
Mhm.
with whatever it is that has been shared, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I am learning so much through that journey too. And it's yeah, you're right. It's like, mm, I'm self-discovery on that same journey of self-discovery too. So we get to do it together in parallel.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
So cool. What is, when you think of like your favorite homeschooling days, what do they look like? And I don't just mean like schedule, but like what's going on in your body? What's like the feeling? What's the feeling with your boys? But then also, yeah, is there something that you're doing that like makes those days stand out in your mind?
Mm. I love the balance of things. I love that one day we have a lot of learning going on. We have activity here, and we read a cool book, and then we did a cool art project, and all is like buzzing, and the eyes are all sparkling, and we're like, "Ooh, this, ooh, that, oh, that's so cool!" And then we're exhausted at the end of the day, and we're just like done. And then wake up the next morning, we have our breakfast, and we're like, run away into a completely unscheduled day. And
Yeah.
we play by the creeks all day and go on a hike or what, like maybe play with the rocks in the backyard and we're building something. It's just completely free. And I love those two things. And most of all, I love that on the first day I woke up excited to do it and we did
Hmm.
it and we got a lot out of it. And then the next day we woke up and we felt like running away and we did.
Hmm.
And we got that day where we were just free flowing, doing what feels right. And I love that we can do both,
Yeah.
whatever we feel like.
Yeah.
I always have like a week worth of like, activities prepared and books on shelves. And some days we wake up and we do them, and sometimes we wake up and it was, nope, we're not doing that today. I
Yeah.
love the freedom of that choice.
Yeah. I love that. I love how you framed that. I yeah, in one of the previous interviews I did, we were talking about how I think sometimes the sort of language around homeschooling is like, oh, you're either an unschooling parent or a parent who uses curriculum, or you're a Waldorf parent, or you're a Montessori parent, or, all
Mm,
these ors. And what I have discovered in my own journey, but also in a lot of the people who I'm around, is like, it's not or. Like, a lot of us are doing all the things. Like, it might be an
mm,
unschooling day followed by a day with curriculum. And
mm,
it's
mm.
the freedom of that choice and the privilege of being able to have the freedom to make that, like, it's such a beautiful thing. It's so awesome.
Yeah, and it's sometimes confusing when you meet parents, especially new parents, new to homeschooling, and they ask you, so, like, what do you do? Do you do
Yeah.
curriculum? Are you a Waldorf? Are you Montessori? Like, which category are you? And you're like, well,
Yeah.
that's a long, long conversation about what
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but we want to put, like, the labels on it probably because it's, like, the feeling of, you wanna find your people or whatever it is, right?
Absolutely.
Like, very similar to life, but there's so much, wide open space.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best part because you're flexible. You're combining all of things. You're more responding. You're not planning it hard in your head. Like we have an unschooling day and then a schooling day. You're more
Yeah.
like responding to what comes up.
Yeah. What do you feel like is the hardest part of homeschooling for you, or the part that, stretches you the most?
I'm with my children 24/7,
Yeah.
and that's the best part of it, and
Yeah,
that's the hardest part of it.
totally.
Because I can see how throughout the day, especially long days, especially when you have a big long week, like by the end of the day and the end of the week, I'm just, yeah, I'm just running on fumes.
Yeah.
And that part is hard. Like, but I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to just give them away because I'm tired. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I want to be there. But I wish I had energy for three.
Yeah.
I wish I just had more juice, like keep being present and keep being, 100% responsive to everything. Because yeah, I'm only human.
Yeah, and it's totally challenging
That
for
is
sure.
the hardest part for me, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also interesting to think about, like, um, yeah, just the balance of, like, extrovert versus introvert and, like, that time and space, It's like, yeah, you think, "Oh, well, if you're an introvert, you're at home, so doesn't that," and it's like, "No, I'm still I'm still around people. They're my
Yeah,
family, but they're still people."
still people. Yeah, you still get constant stimulation.
Yeah. Yeah. How has homeschooling changed, not only you, but how you see learning and how you see parenting?
Okay.
If it has, but I assume it has.
Well, I think I don't have a final answer to that yet because I'm
Yeah,
still learning as we go.
yeah,
Um, I don't have a I don't have an answer about learning. I still feel like I'm learning about learning.
yeah,
I don't have like a final, yeah, response to that yet.
yeah.
Parenting, okay, check parenting. I don't know. I can say how homeschooling changes based on what you learn about parenting. I don't
Mm,
see if parenting changes when you learn about homeschool. It's kind of like
yeah,
they're kind of the same, one and the same. Yeah,
yeah,
it's hard to separate them.
yeah.
Every time I learn something about parenting, it affects my homeschool.
Mhm.
Mhm. Um, yeah, I'm not sure how to separate.
Yeah.
Don't have a good answer to
Eh,
that.
what about, like, in terms of, just in terms of maybe how you are, like, for example, I think of, motherhood in general and how I feel like it not always, but sometimes, and from my experience, like, I feel like I became more fluid. I feel like I learned, like, how to and that I have to, like, let go of things that I'm not in control of things and,
Mhm.
you know? Um, so is there something along those lines of, like, yeah, maybe a way that you kind of similar to the question of, like, did you have expectations going in? Is there a way that you approached it at first and then you felt like you were learning how to operate to be able to does that make sense?
That makes sense. It's actually, yeah, to me, it's kind of the other way around. Whenever I learn something about like parenting and become more like, oh, okay, I was missing this detail there.
Mm.
I bring it into homeschooling, and then homeschooling all of a sudden, opens up a whole new dimension there. For example, um, resistance.
Mm.
Like how do you deal with resistance in your parenting, and the same thing translates into homeschooling. So you can learn from what you do around the resistance in homeschooling, bring it back to parenting, and vice versa.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's, yeah, think like that. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I more like bring things because I tend to be a pretty fluid parent, pretty
Mm.
like go with the flow. But then in school, I have a lot of expectations because school was always like a big topic for me. Like I was loved it, and I always wanted it a certain way. I was kind of a little bit maybe a type A in school. Like I
Mm.
was like and so my parenting approach being fluid and like really responsive and really listen to like what exactly is the need here,
Mhm.
like, whenever I see it's like an outburst, like, what's the need there and how do I respond to the need rather than to the behavior?
Mhm.
That's something I bring to homeschooling.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to be like, I focus more on what do I want him to take from this experience and
Mm.
focus on that rather than on how he's going to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
He might have a completely different way of learning things. And I learned to be okay with it because that's what something I learned from parenting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. It kinda ties into the next question, which was just about, like, unlearning, which I feel like is kind of, um, not that unschooling, like, owns that phrase, but it does come up a lot in the unschooling community of, like, unschooling is kind of like an unlearning in many
Mhm,
ways of what we have been taught to think of as school.
mhm.
Are there things that you feel like you've had to unlearn in order to homeschool in the way that you want to?
Yes, absolutely. That was a big one for me because my school was always very rigid. My teachers were very harsh, and they were always like, "There's only one correct way to do it, and
Mm,
this is how you deliver only in this particular way." And I mean, I am, of course, like my kids are small, and I'm a loving mama. Of course, I'm not going to be that rigid, but it still would come up like expectations. I expect you to do a good job and put effort into it, and like make it proper. Do it the proper way. I still
Mm.
do it.
Yeah.
I'm working on myself, but I still do it. Still comes up. And then I remember how, at my attachment theory and how kids learn through play and how this is, I can see it in my children, how they learn much better if I give them the freedom.
Mm.
But I also want them to have discipline.
Yeah.
And, so it's like, it's a dance.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of unlearning happening for sure. Because, yeah, every day we sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm stripping everything aside that I did.
Yeah.
Like, everything that we did, like back in my school, that doesn't matter. We are focusing on him and what he needs to uh, get out of this.
Yeah.
And what
It's
is the balance between discipline and play? What
yeah,
is
it is very interesting. I mean, I also think of that, in terms of, especially in homeschooling, you know, a lot of times you have the ability to be able to follow your kid's lead.
Mhm,
And at the same time, as much as I honor that and as much as I do follow that a lot, I also am like, yeah, but also you have to do things that you don't want to do sometimes.
mhm,
It's like finding that balance too. Um, because I want them to also have to bump up against stuff because
yeah,
ultimately that's what's going to help them grow and be
yeah,
resilient in the world. And so that is such an interesting piece. And I think that comes up even in community too. It kind of goes
mhm,
back to what I was saying earlier about like wanting to find your people and then, yeah, realizing maybe I don't have to find my people actually, in that way of like people who think exactly like me
mhm.
or are doing the same things I'm doing because I want my kid to be exposed to
Right.
different beliefs and different ways of doing
Absolutely.
things. Um, but yeah, the discipline piece and that sort of like following through on things that maybe don't come easily or things that you don't want to do. Um, it is so hard because I do feel like that's where the rigidity comes out, right? And it's
Mhm.
like us wanting them to build that muscle,
Yeah.
but
But
it's
yeah.
fascinating to watch because I see it in myself too. It's like sometimes I can zoom out and I like have like an overarching view of like myself and my kids in the situation, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why is like why am I doing this? And it is totally like ingrained conditioning, just
Absolutely.
like coming out.
Mhm.
And I'm like, and I had a positive public school experience overall. Like, I'm not homeschooling because I hated public school. Like I loved
Right.
school. Um, and also I recognize, and I don't even think some of those expectations, I wouldn't necessarily say that they came from school either. Like I think that that comes from so many different places. And some of it
Mhm.
is just like innate pressure on yourself too,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, but that
Expectation
is
from
interesting. And I
from
think
us.
yeah, I
What we
think
expect from ourselves, we kind of project it onto them.
totally. And I think especially so many, I would argue every homeschooling mom, like, they worry that they're not doing enough, right? Like, even though you've made the choice and you're doing it, um, you still worry, like, oh, am I doing a good job? We all want to do right by our kids. And so it's that too. It's like, yeah, the pressure on yourself, but then it's just like,
Mm.
pat. Like if you
Yeah.
don't do this lesson right now, I'm like failing you as a
Right.
as
Yes.
your teacher,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I see it in myself all the time. And
Yeah.
yeah, and another thing you said kind of like stirred something up in me. I keep watching. That's a social aspect of homeschooling. Everybody said
Mm.
your kid will not be socialized.
Yeah.
I do see it in the homeschooling a lot of the time. Moms, especially if a kid is sensitive, which there are so many of our kids are sensitive,
Yeah.
uh, and mine are like that. So I catch myself feeling that way too. Like I want to protect them, so I want them to only be in a community where people are very like super gentle environment, perfect people, perfect play, and perfect activities, and everything is perfect, like sort of like greenhouse around them. And I see myself doing it, and I see others doing that, and then I realize that I don't actually want my kids to grow up like that.
Yeah.
And I
Because it's not
do
the world.
not the world, no. And I want them to like run into obstacles, run into difficult situation and difficult people, and I want them to know that they're not alone in that situation. I want to
Yeah.
be right next to them, or a trusted adult to be next to them, or a friend, or even better if all three of them are there,
Yeah.
and they learn how to go through that. And
Yeah.
so I've been focusing on that a lot of
Yeah.
like not backing down from anything
Yeah.
and teaching them not to do that either. Just what do we need? What tools do we need right here in this
Yeah.
situation? Focusing rather than because it came up like let's find the perfect community.
Yeah.
And I've been, you know, almost also on that journey. And that's kind of like what I'm realizing now that I don't actually want the
Yeah.
perfect world for them. I want the world to be there and me being right next to them to help them learn how to interact with it.
Yeah. I think it's a disservice to not, like I
Hmm.
do think that there is a huge disservice um in running away from those moments because yeah, it's just how we all need to grow. I mean, I need that too.
Mhm. Same.
you know.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. For me too. Yeah.
I also think it's been really interesting. We have this larger homeschool group, and then a lot of us have all these other like little groups too. And what I love so much about the larger group is that, like, I feel like I've learned so much about community because I realized through, um, well, a couple things. I realized that I had a really hard time like committing to the community, especially in the beginning. And it sort of made me reflect on how, like, I don't know that I've ever, like, truly built community, you know what I mean? Like, because as I was growing up, there were these communities that I was a part of, I was a part of a theater community, I was a part of my school community, but I I don't know. Yeah, it's making me reflect on, like, how much I actively built versus what I was just sort of, like, a part of.
Mhm.
And in working to, like, build community and maintain community and grow community through, like,
Mhm.
the different ages of kids and their stages of learning, I'm like, "Whew, that's, like, a lot of human hard work."
Absolutely. I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
Same. I've never actually built community before. I was always was like a follower and supporter. And
yeah,
then as soon as I went through so many through my life. And I also realized like I've never even had a best friend because I always have like a close person for a period and then I move on to the next community and next person and the next like different
yeah,
setups. And I never had like yeah, I never built a community and I never was responsible for community and I never like took responsibility for building it. And so
yeah,
I'm learning that too right now. And I'm with you
yeah,
on that. And I think it's first of all, yeah, a lot of souls work. Like
yeah,
hearts work and souls work. It
yeah,
is hard. Working with people is the hardest thing you'll ever do. But it is so rewarding.
yeah,
It is incredible how much I don't know how it's a labor of love.
yeah,
It fills me up. I don't know, it makes me so happy. And also, it kinda I drew parallel with my family. Like, I used to always run away from my family because it was always painful and uncomfortable, and I was like, "I'm on my journey alone."
yeah,
It's just me and my journey. My family is somewhere there. And now that I have a family and I'm looking into community, I'm realizing the dynamics, what I've always been running away from
mm,
dynamics of a family, they're present in the community too, because you
mm,
accept your community the way they are. You work with what you have rather than, going and searching for the perfection in the world. You kind
yeah,
of, this is who you got. This is what you were born into. This is your village.
yeah,
That's what's there. So you make it work with what you have.
yeah,
And that's a completely different approach for me too. Like I've
yeah,
never done that in my life.
yeah.
So, but it's incredible experience, I'd say.
Well, and I remember, so we had like a mom's mom's only gathering where it was our group without our kids. And I remember you asked a question, so we were talking about, this community that we're building, and you were like, would there ever be someone who we wouldn't let into the community?
Right.
And we were like, no, like I mean, yes, we want people to be kind and respectful,
Mhm, mhm,
like that's hopefully, and if there are, moments, we want there to be dialogue to like work through those things. But I just, I, yeah, I think that's what I'm learning too is like, yeah, these are your people and you don't have to be best friends with everyone,
mhm,
but you're going to have disagreements cuz like that just happens.
mhm.
And
Yeah,
how do you work through those knowing that like these are your people? So
yeah.
rather than just like abandoning it because it gets hard, like how do you actually find a way to use dialogue and actually make it better and even
Yeah,
like stronger, which I
yeah.
also think is possible. Like it's not just like okay, I'm gonna like put a band-aid on this and it'll just kind of stay as it is. Like I do think that through dialogue and through the commitment to each other, it actually like can get even, you know, can bloom even more too, which is cool.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. That's what I'm observing, and I see like, oh, I hit the wall. Sometimes, like some days are so frustrating. You feel like you hit the wall after wall after wall. You just feel so defeated. Like
Yeah.
I put all this effort, and for some reason, and I'm not even blaming any particular person or anything. It just happens. It just
Yeah.
happens. Like things are just not working out, and you know. And then all of a sudden, some time passes and things just start coming together all of a sudden. It just,
Yeah.
community has a life of its own. It has its cycles, and
Yeah.
you learn to kind of surf them and, keep a light heart,
Yeah.
not to expect too much and not to take things personally, but more like just surf through the waves.
Yeah. Yeah. We forget that it has cycles, but like of course it does because we do too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even just like perfect examples, like ages of children, and
Yeah.
like what you're able to actually, yeah, it's fascinating. Um, okay, when things feel hard, in homeschooling, parenting, both
Mhm.
one and the same, what practices do you have that feel grounding, or how do you work through, yeah, whatever that is that you're feeling that tension?
So I've noticed that my big problem is that oftentimes I have a lot of bottled up feelings because I don't have time to just give it attention, just process
Mm,
my feelings by sitting there and just focusing on them, just living through them. And so they accumulate and accumulate, and I really need a way to release all that and kind of live through them in an accelerated pace in some sort of container. So I found I go and dance on the weekend. I
yeah,
have this, what's it called? One body dance, three-wave dance practice. I don't know. I don't know anything about the theory of it, but I know that the people in the container they're holding a very loving space where I go, I close my eyes and I dance for an hour and a half. And that's my prayer and my meditation, my therapy, like everything. I come out
that's
like
amazing.
a new person out of there because I live through first like releasing whatever like comes up to me. I dance through whatever feelings comes up, and then I feel like my connection to the divine all of a sudden because I'm this empty vessel again, and I feel like light is pouring through me, and then I return to my children all elevated
Yeah.
and ready for another
You're
month.
like, mom's glowing.
Yeah, months go exactly, exactly. Truly, true miracles happen in that hour or an hour and a half. I can't even describe. It's a miracle what happens to me there.
That's
So
awesome.
this is my one discovery that I hold on to.
That's amazing. I wanna
Um,
go.
yeah, please join me. I keep telling everyone, you should try it. But I know we're all different. We all have our own little secret keys that open up our heart and let us, back to ourselves.
Yeah,
But that's mine. This one turned out to be mine.
I love it. What about, like, in the moment, like, let's
Mm,
say you're in it and you can't do your hour and a half dance,
okay.
and you have to, like, flow through. Is there something else or something you hang on to in those moments?
I always, what helps me, like if it's the children and if that's getting too much and I'm just getting frustrated and frustrated, it always helps me to somehow bring me to the fact that they're babies. They're
Mm.
basically babies. I mean, they
Yeah.
just, and it's hard to keep that in mind all the time, especially when you get tired and hangry and just, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I visualize them as babies. I tell myself, like I try, it helps me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just look and just see them, the picture of them, as they were like the little baby that I was holding, and then I see them that way. All of a sudden, it's amazing how it shifts your perspective. Like I was looking at my son. And I was mad at him that he's not being responsible, and I'm really tired right now. And why is he not doing it? And then all of a sudden, my mind just switches, like shows me the picture of him as a baby, and realizing that, of course, he's not. Of course, nobody would expect him to.
Yeah.
And then we laugh about that. It turned into a joke, and that works.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could say that I took 3 deep breaths and I meditated in the moment and I did the Zen thing, but no, I
Yeah.
didn't. I know it never works for me. I don't know how other people do it. I do try to take breaths. It does. I mean, it gives you a second, but then, yeah,
Yeah.
I can't say it works for me that well.
Yeah. I actually do the baby thing with adults too.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Like, I have totally done that when I'm having a hard time, like, finding compassion. I will literally, like,
Exactly.
imagine them not necessarily as babies, but, like, as children,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, yeah, it reminds you that, like, we're all human and we're
Yeah.
all in this together, and, yeah, I do think it's a good trick. Yeah. Alright, last question, and then
Oh,
if there's anything you'd like to add, you're more than welcome to. Um So, kind of knowing what you know now, where you are at in your journey, obviously still learning, evolving, all the things. But what is something that you wish that you would have known when you were starting? Like if you were talking to the version of Elena that started homeschooling, what is something that you wish she would have known or something that you would tell her now from where you are?
hmm. I don't know. I don't think I would. I definitely wouldn't want to change anything or do anything better
Yeah.
because I feel like it's life. What we're doing is life. And
Hmm.
yeah, I gotta say, sometimes I look back at my life and I think about before, like 20 years ago, I wish I did this different. I wish I did that different. I wish I did better. So many things I would have changed.
Hmm.
With my kids, I wouldn't change a thing. Like
Yeah.
anything on my homeschooling journey, I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah.
I think that was a journey to get where we are right now.
Hmm.
And we took all the turns and we're here and I'm so excited and happy about where we are right now. And yeah, I'm even more like looking forward to where it's gonna take us. Because it took us here. It must be an amazing,
Yeah.
an amazing path we're on. Because I truly
Aw.
love where we are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing. No. I wouldn't say, I mean, yeah. I would say I love you. You're amazing. It's only gonna get better, even though it's already incredibly great. So, I mean, just enjoy. I'm
Yeah.
so happy for you.
Yeah.
You you're in for a treat. You have so many fun years ahead of you. I'm almost jealous.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I still have a few years left, so I have nothing to complain about.
Do you have anything that you want to add or anything that I didn't ask that you feel like would be fruitful to talk about? Or just, you know, just keep chatting?
um, what? No, I don't have any finished thought. I feel like as talking, like as we were talking, a lot of things were coming up, like oh this and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't have any prepared answers.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I mean, that's kind of why I'm doing it. I'm purposely not telling anyone what I'm asking them ahead of time. I'm like, we'll just see how it goes. And
See what comes up, right?
yeah, because I didn't
Thanks.
want people to prepare. I didn't want
Right.
there to be like this polished, I've thought about this for a week and this is,
Yeah.
you know, I want to just like live what's up right now, what's coming to the surface. So
Yeah, I love that. It's more alive that way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. It was
So
so
nice
fun
to
to
chat
talk
with
about
you.
it. Yeah, it was so great.